everyone, this is Paul Gale from PaulGaleNetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is February 7th, 2021, and these are the top stories of the day. Okay, so to kick things off, technically, this was released yesterday by Capcom USA on Twitter. It says, today marks the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter II, punching and kicking its way onto arcades. Who was your favorite character from the original cast? And I was intending on putting up this little bit yesterday, but things got kind of busy, so I'm still celebrating Street Fighter II's 30th anniversary this weekend, in particular, by sharing this video with you today. Now, I love Street Fighter, and I love Street Fighter II. I played yesterday Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection on Nintendo Switch to celebrate Street Fighter II turning 30. And anyways, I'm talking about it today, though. Street Fighter as a franchise is one of my top 2 video game franchises of all time. For many, many years, Mario and Street Fighter ran parallel in terms of being just equally my top 2 favorites. Now I think you could say that I have 3, which is The Legend of Zelda, Mario, and Street Fighter. But regardless, Street Fighter for 30 plus years has been one of my favorites. I started my martial arts career in 1987 when Street Fighter, the original one, also came out. But it wasn't really until Street Fighter II came out, a few years later in 1991 that, ironically, also, that was pretty much the time when I went into official martial arts, from previously beginning in wrestling to now in Taekwondo. And I was right there in the arcades at the Sherman Oaks Castle Park playing Street Fighter II. Any kind of little Pizza Hut that had a Street Fighter II cabinet in there. And in particular, the 7-Eleven that was closest to my Taekwondo studio, which this was around 1990. So by 1991, when Street Fighter came out, the 7-Eleven had Street Fighter II. And there I was, little 7-year-old, 8-year-old Paul, going a couple doors down, playing Street Fighter II, still wearing my gi or still wearing my uniform. And as I would progress in belts, so too would I just wear them continuously, playing Street Fighter II. And it was an awesome experience, I saw myself as Ryu in the game, without knowing later on that he was pronounced Ryu. But there I was, playing along, drawing inspiration from the game, motivation. I had other things in the time of the era that were motivating factors to my martial arts, journey. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was one, for instance. When we were supposed to run and jump and do a flying side kick over the rope that our master held. You were supposed to ki, but you'd have to understand that 7, 8-year-old Paul was going cowabunga, and the consequence was you had to go in the back and you have your hands slapped with the ruler. You gonna do ki next time, or you gonna do cowabunga? Oh, I'll do ki. Okay, good boy, go, run, jump. One kid ki's, next teenager ki's. Paul goes cowabunga, just over and over doing it. So. It wasn't just Street Fighter as my motivation, but Street Fighter was my real big motivation that lasted me long term, because as the Street Fighter series evolved, I truly became more obsessed, if you will, with getting a variety of martial arts in there. Like I said, I began my journey in 1987 when I was 4 years old, wrestling, because my dad and my grandpa wrestled in high school and college, and that was taught to me. But like Street Fighter II, my martial arts journey from a traditional martial arts perspective began in 1990, and then by 1991 full on into Taekwondo, and then from there going into Jiu-Jitsu and Kung Fu self-defense, Muay Thai, boxing, Shotokan karate, personal defense, and Kung Fu self-defense, for that matter. A couple of different takes on the self-defense / personal defense. And, here I am, playing all of the Street Fighter games alongside the years that as they released. Just a massive fan. One of my best gaming memories as a kid, getting Street Fighter 2 on my Super Nintendo. Like I said, many stories playing Street Fighter 2, and then Champion Edition and Turbo and Super 2, Super 2 Turbo at 7-Elevens, at various um, small arcades, Family Fun Arcade, you name it. You know, going on a cruise ship as a kid, they had an arcade. I was playing Street Fighter there as well. And a lot of these battles, in particular the 7-Eleven or the Stop and Go close to, the dojo that I was training at, and various dojos, particularly in my youth, you know, older teenagers, adult men would be standing next to me, and I was just playing, Street Fighter and stuff like that. You know, uh, Involved in some small tournaments at bigger arcades, and just absolute blast with the series. It's been an inspiration. I've wanted to learn the styles of the 8 World Warriors. I wanted to replicate the moves, understand the hitboxes in real life for my real life martial arts training, practice on my timing, my distance, combinations that I could pull off effectively. You know, I love the games, I love the story. I was a fan as a kid of the Street Fighter movie, with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia, Kylie Minogue. It's not the best movie ever made, but I was still a fan of Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, one of my favorite movies ever. That's a really good film. If you haven't seen it, that animated movie, check it out. It's on Blu-ray these days. They polished it up. It's got the original soundtrack. Really cool stuff. And Street Fighter is special to me too because, in addition to helping fuel my passion for becoming a complete martial artist, and these days, I'm a university professor. I teach karate, I teach taekwondo for my former university that I graduated from, which is fantastic. And I, in addition to teaching for, California State University of Northridge, I also teach for the Los Angeles Community College District. I have my own dojo in Southern California, and I teach a variety of martial arts there, from karate to MMA and different things within that world to help my students be well-rounded. Capcom at one time, they called me #1 Street Fighter fan in the world on their Street Fighter website. The Capcom group has put me on their site and their forum page multiple times for my Street Fighter Ryu pumpkin carvings, my Ryu versus Ken Street Fighter gingerbread men. Capcom even in 2008 told me that I won the opportunity to be turned into a character in 2009's Street Fighter 4. So I'm actually a video game character, Paul Gale. I'm in a blue tuxedo and I'm in the European cruise ship stage over on your left side of the stage, cheering on and stuff. They scan my face, front profile, right side, left side. Udon Entertainment, they do a fantastic job with the Street Fighter comic books, and they put me in the back of Street Fighter issue number 7. Got a cool spread, like a one-page spread of me and photos. Yeah, what a game, what a franchise. My license plate is a variation of Hadouken. That's how I get into a pool. If I go into a pool, I don't walk in, I don't cannonball in. I run and do a Hadouken in the pool or a Shoryuken. Yeah. Every game into the Alpha series, into the Street Fighter 3 series, the EX titles, the crossovers with SNK, with X-Men, with the Marvel superheroes, with Tatsunoko. Seeing Akuma go into Tekken, fantastic. Having Ryu and Ken go into Super Smash Brothers for Wii U, for Ryu, and for Ultimate, for both of them. Beautiful stuff. I just love it. I've had the opportunity to make many friends over the years from Capcom and from Capcom's affiliated companies. Eric Ko from Udon, Ray Jimenez, formerly from Capcom, Yoshinori Ono, Taki Inamoto, Seth Killian. Some of these people still at Capcom, others no longer, but still awesome folks that I've had the joy of spending time with at multiple E3s, at other events. Capcom always is so welcoming of me, brings me behind the scenes at every E3 VIP section of their booth and stuff like that. The swag that I have, the statues that I collect, the t-shirts of Street Fighter, the special edition controllers, the figurines, the amiibo, you name it. Um, the more I think about it, yeah, the more I love it. I mean, it's hard for me to pick an overall favorite franchise ever because, like I said, Mario and Ryu, Super Mario and Street Fighter were the two longest lasting franchises that have most consistently pleased me for the longest amount of time. And currently, they never went away. They never dipped in quality. Uh, they always had steady releases. There technically was a pretty good amount of time between official Street Fighter numbered titles. From Street Fighter 3 to Street Fighter 4 was a big gap, but we still had content. We still had ports and anniversary collections, re-releases that came out in between. You still had comic books and stuff like that, Sota Toys Entertainment, figurines and stuff. So the franchise always stayed relevant, but now it's really strong. We're up to Street Fighter 5, and I can't wait to see Street Fighter 6 come out. That's my holy trinity, if you will, in video games. It is Street Fighter, Mario, and Legend of Zelda. And for that matter, Link has joined the party of, one of my top 3 overall favorite characters ever. And when you look at those 3, Link, Mario, Ryu, they could have been more different. One is a everyday man's kind of, short, cute character in Mario with a yippee light, high-pitched voice. Then you have the very, silent protagonist, Link, not a ton of emotion, just the hero that, his voice is basically yours. You're envisioning the character as yourself playing almost. And then you have Ryu, the martial artist who is serious, who does talk, but life to him is all about the fight and the next battle, and isn't fun and lighthearted, isn't super silent, but is serious. So kind of different personality traits. I see myself a little bit in different categories. One, obviously, the martial artist in me that I'm now 37 years old. I've been training martial arts in one style or another for what this summer will be 34 years. 33 years as of, the general now, from 4 to 37. That's 33 years. And it's just kind of cool that I get to share my overall anniversary of Street Fighter being a 1987 title, with me. So it's just special. Thank you, Capcom. Congratulations. Here's to another 30 years of Street Fighter 2 being relevant. I wouldn't mind seeing another remake one day. I think Street Fighter could go for a remake. That would be cool. Get Udon on the game, Have Udon bust out some, 2D remakes, repaint the Street Fighter Alpha series. Have like a composite Alpha 1 through Alpha 3 game. All the characters up to Alpha 3 max. All the stages. All in one game. All given that HD remix treatment. Would be a cheap budget, but pay them well. Those guys do fantastic work, and I would love to see that. That's a game I like as well. I was a really big fan of that artwork. So here's the Street Fighter in general. Here's the Street Fighter 2. Happy 30th anniversary, SF2. My buddy, Hadoken for life. Thank you for sharing my memories with me, allowing me the opportunity to get to talk to you, because it is pretty special. And moving along in video game news, since that was a good 14-minute segment that I felt pretty good about opening today's show with. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. This is from 2008. This is the Beijing Olympics on Wii. But the reason why I'm showing this image today is because there are rumors floating around that, and it's, like I said, just a rumor for now, but that there's a new Mario and Sonic Olympic game being in development right now, that's being developed right now, I should say, for 2022 for Nintendo Switch, which is at the Beijing Olympics for winter in 2022. So likely we would see this title, November or so this year, as that's what they usually do. They come out with the games, Sega does, the season before the actual Olympic year. But there's controversy. The Olympics were delayed. Obviously, they didn't happen last summer in Japan. It's still set at some point, 2021. 2022's coming out. Will the world be different? What's the economic situation going to be like? Is the virus going to be contained? How are we moving forward? Has development of this title, if it is in fact really in development, how has it been affected? There's a lot of unknown. Like I said, I don't even know for sure. Is it in development currently? But if it is, there's a lot more to be, said about it. So purely call this a rumor right now that the game might be in development. But then that also means whether it is or isn't in development, we might not ever know. Like if 2022 comes out and we don't get a Mario and Sonic at the Olympics Games for Beijing 2022, you wouldn't know necessarily unless if Sega said something that, yeah, we had a game, but it was scratched, or nope, it was never in development, and that's why nothing is here because we didn't do one this year. Yeah, we might find out. But as always, if I find anything else personally or that's been officially stated in the news, I will shed some more light on it. Moving on, though, in gaming news, this is something kind of fun. So over at resetera.com, they have an awesome community, and every once in a while, somebody there has an idea of turning your current avatar into whatever the theme is that they have in mind, like a Banjo-Kazooie theme, of God of War theme. So my avatar that I've been using for years is of me holding my Majora's Mask statue from First Four Figures, and different people have changed it, have edited it, that's a tough one, several times over. And this time, Queen Vulpix, which I realize now that I misspelled that, just made this really cool edit of my avatar. And here you go. It's Mario. The theme was Super Mario Brothers 35th anniversary, so Queen Vulpix got me in a Mario hat with a mustache, holding a mushroom power-up, and then changed my Karate Key bottoms from white with a black belt to blue with a red belt, looking like Mario. I think that's cool. Like, that is a really good job. So I was sure to say thank you in the forums, and thank you on Twitter, and thank you right here in this video, Queen Vulpix. And I apologize about that. I'm going to see if I can edit that. And finally, moving on today, this right here. Oh, I'm going to have to tell you where to go. But you have to check out Joe Dunn. That's Joe, and last name Dun. He's a YouTuber, and over on Twitch, he had this journey. And this video right here is 36 minutes and 49 seconds long, but this doesn't represent the full time that it took him to do the following. Over 6 months, over 100 resets, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. He beat the entire game of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 100%ing it, which means getting all hearts, all upgrades, all quests, every memory, a 100% map, getting all several hundred Koroks, every last one, every armor upgrade, all of that stuff. Beating every boss, I mean, everything you could think, getting every weapon and so forth, all while receiving no damage. No official damage taken in the game. I say official because if you recall the Master Quest challenge, when you pull the Master Quest out of the stone, it technically takes away hearts, then you get replenished, but that's a part of a cutscene, so that doesn't count. You could bypass that Master Quest pool with kind of a cheat that's known in the game, kind of a little hack that you could do, workaround, but even though you'll have the Master Sword, it won't count as a piece of your quest completed. and Joe Dunn wanted to have the whole quest completed thing, so this is the route that he took. Watch this video. It's going to be kind of odd if I just play any one random point of it, but check it out. This is impressive. And what I meant earlier by it taking 100 resets is that, you know, it would show in this video itself, it would show of, you know, him playing. It might be a couple of hours in and, oh, just randomly got hit. No, you can't just start, load up an old file, you know, from a couple of minutes earlier, autosave, and then replay. No, he'd have to reset the whole game from the beginning. Play through the few hours. Oh, get randomly kicked by a horse when trying to mount a horse. Can't just, you know, rewind to the, you know, autosave from 3 minutes prior. No, gotta reset, delete, go from the very beginning all over again. Imagine doing that 100 times. This took him 6 months to do. Countless hours. I mean, dozens and dozens, hundreds and hundreds of hours. What a project. What a painstakingly difficult task that was. I didn't watch Joe Dunn's playthrough as it happened live. I just came across this video over the weekend and I thought that I would shed some light on it. It's fascinating. It's a well-edited 37-minute video right here that he's got. Once again, that's Joe Dunn. If you want to check it out and just be impressed of somebody's devotion to one single game over a half a year's worth of time, and this is after, you know, the game's been out for 3.5 years and how much that he had to have played before it, you know, you must know your map really well to know where all the Korok seeds are. Like he said in the video, and like I've said many times before myself, one of the best games ever made. Kind of rivals Ocarina of Time as my tip in between. What's my favorite game ever made? You know, they're both up there. You could play through the game several hundred hours worth and still not see every last nook and cranny, still not have talked to every NPC, found every Korok, upgraded every weapon, tried every piece of trick where it's, you know, hopping on your shield or building up enough inertia, freezing an item and blasting it across Hyrule, creating your own, you know, contraption that you could fly with, using the game's real world physics engine so well to solve different puzzles and shrines. You know, if you need a game to give you enough value for your $60, there's hardly any games better out there than The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So, pretty cool video. Major props to Joe. Congratulations. What a beast of an achievement. And yeah, that's going to do it today for video game news. We've got the Super Bowl later today. Should be an interesting one. Chiefs versus Buccaneers. I'll be watching that. Should be interesting. Don't know exactly who's going to win. Obviously, I'm an LA Rams fan, but I'll appreciate any team that does a good job. So that's all good. Just like video games, you know? You can have your favorite company, you can have your favorite franchise, but you could be a fan of the overall industry. And that's kind of the way in team sports. You might have your favorite team that represents your city, you know, the culture where you grew up and so forth. But if you're a fan enough of a sport and you see two other teams play, if you're into the sport in the first place, you can watch and appreciate the game for the plays and whatnot, the experience behind it and so forth. So yeah, that's going to do it today. Once again, Joe Dunn, good job. Queen Vulpix, I'm going to have to edit that. Thank you for the edit. Mario and Sonic, we're going to find out sooner or later if this is really coming out or not for 2022. And Street Fighter 2, Capcom, happy 30th anniversary. Thank you for the many amazing memories. I will forever be a fan. I will forever be grateful for inviting me to the Street Fighter 4 red carpet premiere in Los Angeles back in 2009 for the launch of this game, for inviting me to various Super Street Fighter 4 events in LA behind the scenes, and just overall your kindness towards me personally at events, and the passion that you've put into one of my favorite franchises of all time. Keeping it consistent, keeping the high quality there, always pushing the envelope for graphics, story, voice acting, controls, gameplay elements. You know, if you ever want some motion capture work, I'd be happy to help out, lend some real fight martial arts choreography to your game, and even some ideas for Street Fighter 6. You know, it was quite a few years ago now, but I did have a Street Fighter 5 series of articles on how I would handle that game before we knew that 5 was going to happen. But those things I think are still relevant to maybe integrating into 6. So, Capcom, if you're watching, if you're listening, let me know. I'd be happy to help. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. This is Paul Gale Network signing out. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. See you next time. Bye. Oh, one more thing. Two more things. Almost forgot. Something small, but bear with me. I mentioned that Nintendo had a reward, I should say. Let me see if I can center that on their My Nintendo page, and that was a cool acrylic 5x7 plaque of The Legend of Zelda's latest spin-off, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. I think this is awesome. It's got a nice glass look, but it's not glass because it is pretty lightweight. I kind of wish that it was bigger, but I'm going to have to find someplace in my house to hang this up because I loved this game. I thought this game was fantastic, super fun, and on top of being fun, the artwork itself is just beautiful. So that came in the mail over the weekend, which I told you that I ordered, so free also. Just had a pay for shipping, but it came free with your My Nintendo points. And the other thing I got was this. This is really sweet. Not officially from Nintendo or anything. It's always kind of weird to center something when you're on a camera. But this came from Redbubble. It's an awesome Metroid pillow. This artwork is available. You could get it on your phone as a case or a t-shirt, bedspread, coffee cup, whatever. I decided to get a cool Metroid pillow as that's some nice decoration for the couch. Comes on both sides. I didn't know that. I was surprised. I was like, oh, sweet. It's not just black on one side and Samus Aran and some Metroids on the other. No, it's on both. So check that out at redbubble.com if you're interested. Okay, glad I didn't forget those because I had them ready. All right, now, bye. See you later.